Well, hi there, boys and girls. Now, who doesn't enjoy watching a dog chase his tail? And that's what you're going to get if you watch this video. It's December 2023, and we're in our temporary house right now while our new home is being rebuilt. But what I'm trying to do in this episode is to fix a grinding going on when I move the table on my shaper. But, spoiler alert, all this machining was done for nothing. It really was just a couple of adjustments and I'd have been good to go. But if you want to see that, stick around and enjoy Journey to Journeyman episode number 36. After noticing some grinding, I took it apart and noticed some run out. Now what that run out does is it causes it to grind each time it gets to the wide part. It's actually going back and forth this way. So this is what we have. This gear, it slides down onto this, and this is just a wobbly fit. So I'm trying to figure out, I think what I'm going to do is try to maybe I can make a new one of these, or bush this one. Maybe I can machine the inside of that out and put a bushing in there and then mill it on size, ream it on size. Not sure, but that's what I need to remake. So I've decided to try to make one of these out of aluminum. I think this is at ZMAC, and we'll take some pop can aluminum that I've made into a bar stock and give that a shot. See what happens. Now this aluminum stock turned out to be really good. I must have poured it at the correct temperature because there's no porosity in it. It's just beautiful to machine. It's just beautiful aluminum. Now, I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to machine this thing, but I have a couple of ideas. And the first idea is to make the round part, cut a slot in it, glue in a piece that sticks out on both sides that has tabs, and then bore out the middle. And so I'm going to give that a shot the first time around. And a quick sanity check. Yep, looks like still some more to go off, so we're getting close. Getting close. Now, one of the things I have learned is the bore of these bushings or pulleys has to be extremely accurate. And so I'm taking my time to get this to fit onto the shaft perfectly. Now, after a quick test fit, it feels nice and snug. It feels great. The problem is there's run out, and I can't figure that out. But it just depends on how you stick it on there. It has run out in it. Houston, we have a problem. Okay, I think I may have solved that. It just looks like it was on there, not fully seated. So, all right. But just in case, I am going to mark where that is on there so that it always lines up on that. Okay, as I ponder one part, I'll work on another. This is a piece of angle aluminum, and it's about 3/1000 too thick. So I'm going to put a fly cutter in here, kind of whittle away at that, and I got it dialed in to less than a half a thousandth of movement on the dial here going across. So let's mill it. Well, there's an old adage of measure twice, cut once, and here's another example of that. I was trying to make that be this way. You can see I'm a little short. So what I may do is just cut this in half. I wanted to stick this fully down into the other part. What I might do is put half on this side, half on that side. So I put some marks on here to know which way this thing goes. And now I want to see if this will fit in here. And it does. And now that that situation is taken care of, back to getting the diameter exactly right. That is my target number. And so I'm going to assume that that's good and take it off now. Here's the scary part. I got this mark so I can get it back in the same way, but now I got to mill a slot in it. So this is what we have. Okay. What I did here is just took the 1, 2, 3 block. I know that the face of that's square, and I squared that off with this. And now we're going to mill a slot in here. Okay, so I just milled a little flat spot on the top there and kind of eyeballed this being in the center. And now we're going to mill that slot. Here we go. Okay, the slot, that's a 1/8 of an inch end mill, and it put that at 125. And now this slot needs to be 185. So 125 minus 185, 60 thousandths. So I need to go 30 thousandths on each side of that. So let's do that. Okay, so loosen this baby up here. We go 30 thousandths. Let's see if we can. And this is the dimension right here that can blow the whole part. I've done 30 on that side and it checked. Now I got to go 30 on this side. So here we go. Yeah, that will go in there with some force. Okay. Alright, so this is what we have. Now we're going to get that Loctited in there and continue with our machining. And now we'll red Loctite this in here. Right. Alright, the Loctite kind of gave up the ghost. So I got to figure out a different way to attach that. I'm going to try to solder it. Well, I think I'm going to get the clean that off. Clean this off. Try super glue and try it again. Well, the front of it got milled. It looks like the super glue's holding, so I'll continue milling the sides now. See, it looks like right around 1/16 of an inch or so. Take more off of that one, so let's do that. Well, at the risk of making a huge mistake, I'm going to go ahead and undo this. It looks very close. This is starting to come on, so I think deburring and this thing might be, oh, I forgot I was going to do the center out of there. I forgot about that. I'll have to do that in the lathe. Alright, some deburring. Alright, it will only go on that one way, but it goes on. So, let's see if it's concentric and get that out of there and cut it off.
I saw that stone. What stone is he talking about? Here, cattle, over all the earth,
Dear.
and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon here.
So obviously the super glue failed, and now I'm going to try a different method of getting the little fins, the little tabs in there. So I start off with the same aluminum block that I had, and it's all ready to shape and size. So now I'm going to cut two little slots for it on the side and JB weld in the little tabs. Now this is the fit I was looking for. That baby is nice and tight. I just have to mill these down. You can see it still has the radius from the other thing I did. And the holes don't quite line up. So I'm going to have to open one of these holes up a little bit more. But so far I'm kind of happy. Almost there. Starting to go in. Just need to do some filing. Okay, with some filing I got this to be able to, the gear to fit on it, but I want to see if it runs concentric, so stick it on there. It's tight, it's concentric. So let's get the pin in it and the gear on. Came in from the other side and it did just fine. I have to do a little filing right here though, and then we'll see if the gear is concentric. Looking marvelous. So this fit on here really nice, and the run out was gone, and I didn't film it, but I put it on the machine and it started to still grind. So this washer that I just showed, I think that it's moving the gear too far out. So I decided to machine this washer and make it a little thinner because I thought that the gears are hitting on another surface. So here I'm going to make a little mandrel and super glue this on, this washer on, and thin it out. Okay, I've been chasing my tail on this one, trying to figure out when I tighten that up why I needed shims. Well, turns out I took this gear off, and it was touching on here, so that spacer in there, that washer was too thick. So I just thinned that out, and let's get that on there and see if we can make this thing work right. One of the things I've learned in life is a multiple failure is a difficult failure to diagnose. Well, I finally got this. Now here's what I found out. One is I don't need shims in here anymore. I wanted to fix that. So, in all of my troubleshooting, what I have found is that there were several things wrong with this mechanism. So initially I thought it was the wobble in that little bushing in there. Originally I thought it was this bushing making it wobble and go in and out and hit. Well, that wasn't exactly it. That was part of the problem. The next thing I thought was, since it was still rubbing, is it has to be, when I saw this in here, it made the lead screw on the other part not line up exactly over there, so I thought this was putting a little bend in it. Well, so I put the old one in, and I'm glad I fixed that because that's got a ton of backlash. It's not that. That may be a contributing factor. Then it was this little washer behind here that was making this part touch the casing and rub up against it. So here's what I did. I ground off a little bit of the casing, trimmed that down, and now there's no fouling. So Let's get this thing back together and have our shaper back. Well, once things got put back together, it just didn't go together right. The lead screw with this this brass nut didn't line up correctly. So I looked at it and it's about 10 thousandths off. So I'm going to machine the other end and make it right. And it checks. Okay, so I touched that baby up on the drill doctor. And let's see if that cuts a little better. It's much more better. Now it's cutting. So what I'm machining here is that left-handed thread just on the other end of the same piece. I can do it twice on the same piece and it worked. And I'm going to try to have it centered. All right. I can't fit the right I don't have the right collet for the size that I need to drill this. And you can kind of see how it is a little bit offset from that one. That one's a little bit too far that way. So I'm going to try to get this in a 4-jaw. I don't want to do it in a drill press because there's some grabby stuff right here. So let me see if I can get this in a 4-jaw and finish getting this to tap drill size. Okay, this took me a while to set it up because it's like you need 3 hands. And oh, I see that. Gotta watch out for the carriage there. Okay, but I took a hold down clamp. I had a little dowel rod in there and make sure that this was centered up. Now you can see that the drill goes through it nicely. So I know I'll have to take that up to the tap drill size of 410 thousandths. I'm going to tighten that up just a little bit more, and then we'll try to drill that. Well, the tap drill is going to be this, which is 410. This is 411 when I mic'd it out, which is a letter Z. And I'm maybe going to measure that before I go on and drill it. Okay, well, that drill I drilled with was a 405 thousandths, and it drilled it at 408 after measuring it. So I'm not even going to do that one. I'm going to go ahead and tap it right now. Now I keep telling myself this is left-handed, so turn it the opposite way of normal on the tapping. Alright, here's the setup to cut the angle. I took the old block here and got a straight edge, found that angle there, and then set the vise there to where that's flat. And what that does is it allows the vise to be to where it will cut on this side right here at that same angle. Also, I put in my little gauge thing here, and what that does for me is it allows me to align that vertically. And so now we'll start cutting. Now this is the old one to put that little angle cut on it. So let's do that. Okay, now the reason why I put that opposite is because this is the side that goes down and there's a set screw that goes there. So if we were to do it on the same side and I had two of them like that, the set screw wouldn't set. So I'll show you what that means in the shaper. Okay, there's where that thing goes in. You can see the set screw on the bottom. And now I am going to put it in and do the set screw. Okay, here's the that's the new one that's in the right spot, so we'll put that there. And slides right in. Now we'll take the lead screw and get that baby in there. Alright, now it's not lining up this way. It had a problem up and down, and now it has a problem sideways. Okay, more to figure out. Okay, this one's with better lighting. Well guys, I don't know what happened, but I turned it around and put it that little brass thing the way it originally was, and I don't know if it's because I polished it up to get the other end to fit or what, but how it works. So the one end, the new end that I just made, doesn't work. The old end that I made a while ago does work. I'll take that as a dub. And now to set that set screw. Alright. Okay, I know this is going to be quite unfulfilling because I'm not going to get this back together and use it because it's getting torn apart, put out in the shed because this house is being torn down, and so we're building a new home. So anywho's, just to show you, that's got it. So everything's good now, so we'll go ahead and pull it apart, put it in the shed, and hopefully in 6 months or so we'll have that baby up and running and making videos with it again. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and what a rabbit hole. This was only its temporary home for all of my tools, but all of this is getting taken apart and put into a shed. The good news is I'm going to have a new home here in about 6 months, and a new home for all these tools.